Well, that was interesting and food for thought, I must say. But now and back to the studio, we've got something not less important. For joining us in the studio to tell us more about why you should care for your work environment and share some special general workplace trends is Marilyn Zakhour, founder and CEO of Cosmic Centaurs. A very wonderful day to you.
Thanks, I'm very happy to be here.
Marilyn, what you do is incredible. I've seen your Instagram page. I mean, first things first, when you guys sign on a new client, you actually go in and really cater and bespoke to your client. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every company is different, every culture, what they're trying to accomplish in the world, how they add value. And so when you're thinking about designing the perfect workplace, there is no one size fits all. It's actually quite the opposite. So what we try and understand is what's going to create an environment where everybody can thrive and try to help the leadership of an organization to actually get that done.
And you have some cards in front of you.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. Yeah. They're there on display.
What are we playing?
Okay, let me tell you all about this. So actually, something that's really important in setting up your workplace, we tend to really focus on the doing, on the KPIs, on the numbers. But if you want your teams to overperform, actually community, you mentioned that earlier, is very important. So helping people to connect at a human level, to get to know each other, is really important in building high-performing teams. In fact, you'll see increased sales by up to 18%, increased productivity by up to 44%, increased profitabilities in companies by up to 22% if you focus on that connection and engagement piece. And so one of the things that we did is we designed this game. It's a game for teams that has more than 100 questions, and it helps teams to get to know each other better and create that friendship in that community.
I thought there were some startling figures you gave there, but this is the thing I'm always talking to with business leaders as well. This whole thing that we need to drive people to burnout. In fact, if we flip that on its head, are you finding then that there is a genuine ROI to businesses if they just treat their people well and create a space where they can turn up and be themselves?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like that would be common sense, right?
Yeah.
Because if you're building sustainable competitive advantage, institutional knowledge, people staying, giving their best, connecting to the purpose of the organization, this is what makes companies thrive. When you think of the best companies in the world, that's what you see amongst their employees. They carry that brand forward every day of their lives.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like everybody should know that this is really important, but sadly that's not always the case, and I guess that's why we're here talking about it.
And I know we say this from an organizational perspective, but from an employee's perspective, I believe that the equation has changed. When we say it's quality, it's not quantity, nowadays I don't believe it's the organization that interviews the employee, it's the other way around. And you shouldn't go for numbers. You should look at the place if this is a great place to work or not, because that decides how long you're going to stay there.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think the pandemic had some positive effects, and one of them is to put power back in the hands of talent and employees. And so we're seeing companies that are complying more and more with the need to actually show up and build a great place to work, as you mentioned, and people just won't stick around for long enough, and without talent, really, what are you?
So you're working specifically with women within the workplace, so can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, my entire team is all female. I'm very proud of that. But I think, whether it's women or other kinds of minorities, what is interesting is to say that every single person has different needs.
Yeah.
And we tend to see HR policies that are one size fits none, is what we call them, which is that it's very important to actually start and look at your employee population not as one big group of people, but smaller groups that have individual needs. I'm a mother. I can work from home. I have a 6-month-old. I can be around for her. I can't imagine what it would be like if I was in a workplace where I had to be at work from 9 to 5, 5 days a week. So I think that's what really matters.
Well, thank you so much for giving us that insight, and I hope we can play the game later between us. I want to see what's on the cards.